This is the story of Elfis, a Christmas tale. It was Christmas Eve, and all was not well at the North Pole. The letters from kids were piling up faster than elves could possibly make the toys. And even after Spiffy and Fluffy and Zippy and Milty had gone through the millions of letters and pulled out all the duplicates, Roger Noonan stopped writing hundreds of letters to Santa. You're not getting a pet zebra. The brightly flashing toy-o-meter frantically told the sad story. 2 days' worth of toys to make, and only 1 day before Christmas. With little time to spare, rush, rush, rush were the words on everyone's lips. Elves were huffing, elves were puffing, elves were building playthings faster than ever before. All except for one. Melfin. Now, when things were going smoothly at the workshop, Melfin the elf was the one who tested all of the freshly made toys. In fact, if you see a tag attached to one of your toys that says, tested by number 1/2, that was Melfin. But when Christmas got closer and things got really hectic, Melfin was overexcited, overenthusiastic, and overwhelmed. Suddenly, all thumbs in confusion. This close to the big day, Melfin was like a pint-sized pressurized personal predicament, which is not easy to say and not easy to be. The sad truth was Melfin was breaking more toys than the other elves were making, and this was no year for that to be happening. With a stack of busted toys behind him, Melfin was testing a brand new guitar. He tugged at the strings a little too hard, and the instrument flew out of his hands and headed directly toward the stomach of kindly Mr. Knox, Santa's workshop supervisor. With the wind knocked out of him, Mr. Knox gasped exasperately, "Melfin, get out! You're messing things up, slowing things down. We're manufacturing and you're manufacturing. You must leave the workshop at once and take this sorry excuse for a guitar with you." But, no buts about it. I just want you out of here now. Goodbye. And the next sound the pleading elf heard was slam. With nowhere else to turn, Melfin began to sniffle and piffle his way through the snow. As usual, he was a walking disaster. He accidentally toppled a dam the beavers had built across the stream and left them all stranded in the snow. He bumped into a hollow tree trunk where the chipmunks, squirrels, and other woodland creatures had stored their nuts for the winter and sent the whole supply crashing to the ground. And perhaps worst of all, he stumbled and tumbled and knocked down the fence holding the reindeer, and they zipped away in all directions, especially Donner, who took off like a comet, and Comet, who for some reason took off like a dancer. Too tired to continue, Melfin paused to sit on a tree stump next to a weathered but cheerful-looking snowman. Feeling very sorry for himself, Melfin exclaimed to no one in particular, I'm not such a bad guy. I tried hard. I just wish Mr. Knox could see I have a good soul." As his final word hung in the freezing night air, a strange stirring occurred. The wind howled, the sky poured down a blizzard of snow in every color of the rainbow. "Did you say soul?" a voice asked. Who said that?" "Me," the snowman answered, suddenly coming to life. Who are you?" They call me the hardest working man in snow business, the boss of the blizzards, and your soul brother number one, the snowman exclaimed. I'm here to put the elf back and believe in yourself. But maybe Mr. Knox was right, Melvin said. After all, look at this guitar. It looks more like a snow shovel than a musical instrument. The snowman called out, Melvin, it's time for the world to see who you really are on the inside. It's time to start rocking and rolling your troubles away. You've got to believe in yourself, elf. Okay, snowman, but how? It's easy, my main elf. When next on that guitar you strum, something magical you'll become. And Melvin picked up the guitar, gave it a half-hearted pluck, and zap, flash, kapow! Melvin began spinning like a top in the snow. As Melvin spun, the snowman added for good measure, twice the toys in half the time with a rockin' beat and a magic rhyme. When the little guy stopped spinning, he was poor little Melvin no more. Instead, he was a king of rock and roll at the North Pole. He was Elfis. Repeating to himself, twice the toys in half the time, twice the toys in half the time, he suddenly knew what he had to do. Wow, that's it, Mr. Snowman. And thanks and Merry Christmas, Elfis exclaimed. With his work done, the snowman was back to being just a snowman. Although, if you look a little closely, you can see a wider smile than he had had before. Elfis had no time to lose. With his brand new shiny guitar in hand, he headed back to the workshop, but the beavers were just starting to rebuild the dam that Elfis couldn't get across. So he started singing. Won't you build that dam across the creek to let me go to the place I seek? Got a blast to make toys fast, make some magic or our Christmas will be bleak. Hearing this tune, the beavers sped up and erected the dam in no time, so Elfis was on his way once again. But then he passed the chipmunks and the squirrels, ever so trying to get their winter's worth of nuts back into the hollow tree. So Elfis sang. Well, bless my soul and woe is me. You gotta get those nuts back in the tree. So critter, shake your tail, don't stand and shrug. Let's all move and pick 'em up. Yeah, let's pick 'em up. Cheered by Elfis' song, the critters filled their tree quickly, and Elfis rocked on toward the workshop. But just before he got there, he saw the empty reindeer pen. So Elfis sang. Well, since the reindeer left me, they found a new place to dwell. But now we need them back again to serve the children well. Hey, if you get shooed off, Rudolph, no time to be stupid, Cupid. Let's all go groove to the sleigh bell. And soon the reindeer scampered back from every direction, ready for their big night. Finally, Elfis reached the workshop. He peered into the window and checked the trusty toyometer. He saw that the toy making was at an all-time low. The toyometer was flashing. Your little behinds are a lot behind. You're never going to make it. What's more, he saw that all his friends were sad at a time when they should have been full of joy. It's just no fun around here since Knox threw him out. Yeah, it's hard to keep my mind on these toys knowing the poor little guy's out there in the snow somewhere. Elfis had no time to lose. He burst into the workshop and twanged a happy note on his guitar. Everyone looked up and listened carefully as he sang the following to a happy rock and roll beat. Build one for little Bobby, 2 for pretty Sue, 3 for all the triplets. We've got lots of work to do. Now won't you step up that toy making ooh. If we all work together, we can finish up on time, that's true. With this new rockin' beat to guide them, the elves started turning out the toys at double speed, and Elfis continued. Santa threw a party at the old North Pole. Everyone was building toys and singing soul. Trucks and games and dolls and planes were everywhere. Happiness and love and soaring through the air. Well, let's hop. Everybody, let's hop. Everybody in the whole workshop was building to the workshop hop. Toys were being built faster than ever before, and the toyometer instantly began flashing. You're so busy, it's making me dizzy. Good work. Elfis kept strumming. The toy makers were humming, and the stacks of letters grew smaller and smaller, and the stacks of toys grew taller and taller and taller. And in no time at all, the toyometer declared, "Give that guy a standing O. The toys are done and set to go." Everyone in the place cheered and surrounded Elfis to show their appreciation for his rockin' beat. And the happiest of all was Mr. Knox, who shook Elfis's hand and said, "You're just what we needed around here. We couldn't have made it without you." That's when Elfis paused, smiled, and suddenly began his magical spin. Then, in a flash, he changed back into Melvin and said, "That's exactly what I was trying to tell you." Everyone gasped with the changeover, first in disbelief, then in delight. Elfis, or rather Melvin, had saved the toy-making effort. He was the hero of the day. As they continued to salute him, a booming voice was heard. "Melvin," the voice said, "your rockin' and rollin' beat helped the elves make more toys than ever before. But now I've got the big job of delivering them all." "Santa?" Melvin asked. "Right," Santa answered him, "and if I'm going to deliver a record number of toys, I'm going to need a boost, too. Would you please come with me and turn your toy-making beat into a toy-delivering beat?" Whir, spin, flash! It was Elfis once again. "You bet, Santa," Elfis exclaimed. "Glad to. We've got a lot of giving to do." And with that, they were set for their Christmas Eve ride to get the whole world rocking and rolling together. As everyone gathered around the sleigh, Elfis jumped to the tippy top of the toy bag and sang for all to hear. "You'll have a great Christmas, I promise. Every Paul, Sean, Jane, and Thomas. Do just like this little elf and believe in yourself, and you'll have a great, 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 great Christmas." Merry Christmas, everyone.